Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Leiluy nishmat Miriam Ruspas Mordechai. Shalom Aleichem to the guests. Shalom Aleichem. Your name? Yubi Richt from Lakewood, New Jersey. And you?
Yoni Richt.
Yoni Richt. I hear from
Lakewood, New Jersey.
Wow, also. What a coincidence. Unbelievable. So you finished Masechtas Kiddushin? You ready to step in, take over share right now? You are?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. It's not so posh, it's Daf Lamed Ches. You got it? Okay. Yeah. Tomorrow, Boisai, is my first day off. Yoni Richt from Lakewood stepping in. What are you laughing? Hi, Reb Eli Stefansky. I wanted to say thank you for making such a huge difference and impact in our home and in my husband's learning. My husband has recently started learning the Daf with Yashir, and since then, Baruch Hashem, we have seen a positive change that has made in our lives all around. A bit of backstory. My husband lost his mother to cancer a bit less than a year and a half ago. During the 5 years of her illness as well, as the year after her passing, learning was hard for my husband. He was still learning in Koilo. But there's something missing. He had lost the spark. We couldn't put a finger to what exactly what he needed. The Shir has given that back to him. I see him excited and dedicated, putting his all into it, more than I've seen in a long time, in a long while. Baruch Hashem, he's also seeing success in other areas of his learning. In fact, the Shirim have been giving insight and direction to the other areas of his learning as well. In addition, it's so wonderful to be able to see the fact that MDY has given us so much more in areas that we weren't expecting. Chinuch. Our two toddlers love to sing his Shema to do the daf with him, and they love to sit with him while he's learning and watch the shir with him. The older one especially loves the goat, love the goat. This is something particularly wonderful that the kids get to see the Abba learning, what it means to be really dedicated to learning every day. With much thanks, Mrs. Amsalam, RBS Gimel. See here in the shir, it seems familiar. Oh! Shalom Aleichem, how are you? Who wrote this email? You or your wife? No, you can't. Very nice. Okay, so she has nachas from you. I'm reading B'dafka because people don't realize it does a lot in the house and the wife is very proud. She might not say it always. She might not write these emails, but it does. Gershon Rose says, Eli Goldschmidt in Ukraine. Just received an attached picture from a friend leaving Uman. He noticed Eli Goldschmidt catching up on the bus. Although data is scarce and extremely uncomfortable buses, nothing will stop a devoted MDYer. Saying the words also, and the screen is on at the table, but he's blocking it. Stagging away 2 hours straight, or more. I've been in your Talmud since Masechtas Rosh Hashanah Daf Beis. My family and I heard about the Shabbaton. We're excited, however, we saw the prices. We're not sure we can make it work. We're planning our annual trip to Florida for Sukkot. Listen to this. He wasn't sure he can make it work, and this is coming from a lawyer. He's a partner. So we're planning our annual trip to Florida for Sukkot to visit family. My wife and children had the idea, without even thinking twice, of not going to Universal Studio Park and not paying for a hotel in Orlando, and rather using that money for your program. I felt very proud of them to hear that suggestion. We'll therefore remain in the Boca, South Florida area for all of Sukkot. My wife said we should focus on our ruchnius rather than our gashmius. Another gishmaka. We look forward to seeing Rebbe in person at the program. Your Talmud, Chaim Nussowitz. You're sponsoring a trip to Disney World? And you're going to stay here in RBS with that? You have a lot of sponsors. The guy has 10 kids. And what about hotels?
That will be sponsored by the chairmarket.com.
That was good. Cheermarket.com. So what are you sponsoring? Let's hear. You're sponsoring the ticket to get in? Universal Studios. What are prices there? Over $100, no? $100. Okay, that's $1,000. That was your ticket that you could have spent to go to. Okay. You will get it back. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't know if you guys were here. You were all missing. Noam was missing yesterday. You were missing, and Mendy, all four of you. I was very lonely yesterday. It was a half a tzibur. It was very sad. So this kid wrote that his only connection to Yiddishkeit, he's 15 years old. He's a kid from Lakewood. His father's like a avrich in Koil, and he sent us a picture and the whole thing. His only connection is through the daf to Yiddishkeit. But he said the most he could put together is $300. How is he going to come? He has to come. So right away, what's your name again? My neighbor from New York that lived right below me, Reb Eli, he sponsored $200. So every day, so now people are just going to send an email so they get sponsored. Yishkoyach. Okay, very nice. Donnie Scherer, dear Reb Eli, on a personal level, I would like to thank you very much for the extra time and effort for Daf Lamed Dal that you put in for the old folk like me out there in Chutzlars. I started the Daf with Kiddushin and I'm loving every shir. As I no longer work, I wanted to know if you thought doing an extra Daf starting from Brachas, working my way to Kiddushin is a good idea. Do you think it's overdoing it at the risk of a burnout? So my thought. Daf Yomi is what's that thing called? It's a Ferris wheel. Thank you. Daf Yomi is a Ferris wheel. So wherever you get on, you get off. Noam Fix just recently did a Siyam Shas because he got on at a certain Masechta. What was it? Gitin. And he finished at Gitin. You start at Kiddushin, you finish at Kiddushin. There's no difference between starting in Brachas or starting in Shabbos. Now, I do recommend adding a little bit. So, for instance, you could go backwards, maybe 1 or 2 Masechtas. Start from Gitin. Or if you want to add, you could do, let's say, Sukkah to finish Sukkah for Chag HaSukkos. It's a beautiful thing. To go all the way back to Brachas, not 100% recommended. There are people. Where is he? He's not here today. He's whatever. Okay. Forking does Brachas. A lot of people start from Brachas. He's already maybe an Eruvin. Okay. Just a random thought. If a person puts 5 fingers, and according to Rav Steinman, pulls out 5 separate groups of hair while thinking of the 6 million neshamas of the Holocaust, he has to be over on 30 million Averis. Yes, exactly. Danny Sher. Well, over there, maybe he's talking about 5. Yeah. P.S. Just to prove a point tonight, I started at 10 p.m. Listen to this. Our boy said he's an older folk. He said he started at 10 p.m. and I've just finished with a few coffee breaks, and it's now 2:05 a.m. With every minute spent learning Torah, I wish I could have done that every night. Beautiful. Rabbi Isai, I don't want to forget this one. So our very good friend, Michael Ben Chetrit, the rep of Florida, his daughter got engaged and he's sponsoring today's shir. It's not in here, so I don't want to forget it. What's her name? Eli? What? Eli to Ovadi something. You're all invited to the Vart, which is going to be where? In Florida, probably. In Hollywood. And the guy's from Hollywood. He's coming this week? Isaac about. You all know about this, huh? You all got it. The Masechta is sponsored by Lakewood Lebovic families, Lakewood NJ, because torah and achdus are the best segula. Parents achdus, Rochel bas Leba for Refuah Shelemah b'karev. Rabbi said also another thing. I said this in the middle of Shir. It was Motzi Shabbos, it was Motzi Yontif. There was hardly anybody here, and it was I got to say this again. A Dvar Chizuk. Yossi Saunders, who's sitting right over there, Saunders. He has a newspaper in London, and he moved to Manchester, and he moved also in London, right? Also in London, and he moved to Israel last week. And he told me he had a choice of getting a nicer apartment somewhere else, and a larger apartment for less money, or a smaller apartment for more money, but it was across the street from his kid's school. So what that meant is the difference of coming to shir or not coming to shir. Because he lives right across from school, so his kids just go by themselves. So he's able to make it every morning. So welcome, Yossi. You're going to be a big part of our shir. It's a big chizuk. People spend money. And then at the same time, we have Rabbi Zared, who's sitting right behind him, who's renting Reb Nachman Seltzer's apartment because he wants to be next to the daf. And Reb Nachman knows that, and he charged him extra money for that. Business is business. Leiluy nishmat, Chaya bas Yosef. Leiluy nishmat as a zchut that our family should be blessed with health, simcha, nachas for 120. Parnas Hachodesh Hatzlocha l'zchut Yosef Miriam ben Rochel. Parnas Hachodesh Elan Chaim Golan Leiluy nishmat Batsheva Chaya bat Miriam. Parnas Hachodesh Leiluy nishmat Chaya ben Moshe. Justin Ivry, dedicated to my personal hearing spirit, Reb Eli Shlita and family. V'tam Torah connected kulam. Everybody's tefillah should be niskabel. And in honor of your great father, I'm going to see him today, Be'ez Hashem. Wish me luck. No, Bemis. It's the whole thing. You got to go. You got to come back. Go to Yerushalayim. You're not going to let you in. No, that's an official. I got in. MDY. Oh, a huge Akaras Atoyv in Shekoyach. The Paras Hayoim Yuval Kavosh Leiluy nishmas Fair-doz Bat Esther. Fair-doz Bat Esther. And the second sponsor, Mordechai Sepazim Zech Nishmas, his great grandfather, Rav Cholan Taitz Zech Tzach Lerocha, Rav Cholan Zev, and Rabbi Yoman Avram Yaakov Zech Tzach Lerocha, and Shelemah have an Aliyah, maybe Yosef and the Dar Mishpach and all the Klai Yisrael, and Mordechai should find the Shidduch B'Koroi. Start of the month, Yosef and Chaya Sarah for all the schusim that come from supporting Limud Torah. Rabbi said brand new Mishnah, brand new Sugya. Oh, let me say this before I forget. Because we're in Asesi Tshuva and people are looking to give tzedakah before Yom Kippur, don't forget mdymonthly.com. Don't forget it. You could give $1 a day. It goes a very long way. Best tzedakah out there. Best. Because you're getting people to learn Torah. There's nothing like, and changing their lives, like these emails. The wives are already writing in. People are giving up their vacations, Universal Studio to come to the Shabbatot. So, MDY monthly. Also, don't forget, I haven't spoken about this in a very long time, but Masechtas Bava Kama is coming up. Believe it or not. There's only one volume between now and Bava Kama. We're looking for sponsors for the Masechta to sponsor the Art Scroll Gemaras, which is a huge expense. So, Ayin Sham, go to mdysponsor.com and mdymonthly.com. It's Kedai. Right now, a lot of people signed up last year during, so you think it's only $1 a day, it's only $18 a month. It adds up to a lot. I think 400 people signed up, so it's very, what? Cancel Netflix and put the money. It's a great idea, Yosef. I like it. Cancel now. Or don't go to the Universal Studio and give us 10,000, whatever it is. Who's going to spend? Avi Factor, whoever drops Netflix and gives it to MDY, Avi Factor sponsoring Netflix. Call mitzvah shitluy baretz. He said, why not? What?
Which month only has 18 days?
No, I'm trying to go low. I said, no. You got what I said. You got what I said. How much are you sponsoring, Tyler? Now they're a big talker. And how much are you sponsoring? I understand you're big on it, but let me say how much? How much? Are you on there? Are you on MDY monthly? I'm going to check it out. There's going to be a big Ilum Shem tomorrow if you're not on there. You better go on right now. Kol mitzvah shitluy baretz, says the Heilige Mishnah. Any mitzvah that's dependent in Aretz. What does Aretz mean? So here in Eretz Yisrael, in Hebrew, Aretz. Aretz means Eretz Yisrael. It could also mean the land, the earth. So any mitzvah, so if you say it's the land, and that's what the Gemara is going to come out with, that the land means any mitzvah like Shemitah, Klayim, Arla, all the things that are dependent in the ground. Kol mitzvah shitluy baretz, eino noheges ela baretz. Where's Shemitah? Where's Shemitah today? Eretz Yisrael, Truma, Meiser, in Eretz Yisrael. V'sheino tluy baretz. What if it's not dependent in the land? Like what? Like Shabbos, like anything else. Bris Milah. It's not totally in Eretz. It's not totally in the ground. So we're moving from mitzvahs that women are chayiv, women, to mitzvahs in general. There are mitzvahs that are dependent in the land, and those mitzvahs that are dependent in the land are only Eretz Yisrael. And the mitzvahs that are not dependent in the land, tefillin is not dependent in the land. You wear tefillin because you wear tefillin. So you chayiv in tefillin, even in chutz la'aretz. There's an exception to the rule. Daf Lam Zayin Amud Aleph. Chutz mina arla v'klayim. These two things, arla, the isser of hana, you can't have any benefit from the fruit of a tree the first 3 years. And klayim, taking two species of vegetables and putting them together, that applies also in chutz la'aretz, even though it's dependent on the land. We just had a rule that anything that's dependent on the ground is only in Eretz Yisrael. No, arla and klayim are in chutz la'aretz as well. Even the Isser of Chadash. So what's Chadash here? You have a beautiful picture. It actually works on it. Some of these new pictures are AI, but a tziruf of AI. It's taking AI and first of all to get the right prompts, to get certain things going in AI. It's a combination of I don't know this one particular. This one I'm assuming is AI / his work because it's not like you put in the prompts and out came a picture. It takes many hours. Akal upon it. It goes like this. Chadash, as you're going to see, according to most Rishonim, the Rambam and all the Rishonim, there's an argument, but according to most Rishonim, Chadash applies in our days, even in Chutz La'aretz. And it's a deraisa. So what is it? So basically, this is, okay, so any wheat that took root last year, Tavshin Pei Gimel, when Pesach comes, the second day of Pesach, Klal Yisrael goes, grabs some barley, cuts it, and brings it as a carbon oimer. Brings it a carbon the second day of Pesach. And that is matter all the wheat that grew beforehand. Anything that takes root immediately after that day becomes asur until the next Pesach. So in America, because they're so quick with growing the wheat and harvesting it and using it, so a lot of their flour is from the new flour. They're not using the old flour. They're very quick. They're able to grow it, chop it down, process it, and make pizza out of it within the 3-4 months. So what happens is, right around Sukkot time, becomes a huge problem in America. You're going into the store and you're eating pizza, you don't know if you're over Issa Deraisa or not. Now, according to the Bach, it's not Issa Deraisa. So a lot of the people in America, there was soymach on the Bach. And it's a big shiloh. Why? And it goes back to Europe. They didn't have flour and they didn't know what to do. And there's certain kulas. But what? The beer is a big problem. If you're a big beer drinker, a big problem in America now. So, one of my pet peeves, I had a trauma when I was a kid. I walked into one of the famous bakeries in Brooklyn and I asked them, is your bread yashan or chadash? And there was a certain individual in line, and he made fun of me. He said, Chadash is also midaraisa. Like he's making fun that I'm makbid on Chadash. He's like, what's your problem? You're an idiot for being makbid on it. Not knowing that it's most likely Issa Deraisa, and that a lot of people took a kula to it. But if you're going to take a kula, at least know that it's a kula and that it's not the popular belief. The most Rishonim hold that it's Issa Deraisa gam bizman hazeh. At least know that. Don't be in Ma'aret to make fun of somebody that's makbid on it. Today, it's a lot different. Today, most places are able to be makbid on Yoshan, even in Chutz La'aretz, even in America. It's very, very different. Now, there are whole communities of people that have these books, and you go around with the book, and you see that this date, you can buy the cereals with this date and everything in the store because it all has dates, and they know exactly when the new production is done with the new flour. But it's a whole parsha. Here in Eretz Yisrael, Baruch Hashem, it's not such an issue because people are very makbid on it, and I don't think it's possible even to get a chadash over here unless you're buying American products, right? So you're buying American cereals, noodles, what? They are makbid over here. Okay. But more in America, without even knowing, I think a lot of people are going that way. What? It's more of a right. This is the rice here. Even with produce that came from America, even with flour that came from America, I'm saying, right. So here in Eretz Yisrael, so we hear this here in Eretz Yisrael, it's Issa Deraisa. So the big shiloh is in America, in England, is it Issa Deraisa or not? There is a Bach, but the Bach is arguing on Rishonim. That's what you have to understand. He's arguing on Rishonim. Okay, fine. And again, why exactly was making this whole thing? Why? Because of the mamish, they couldn't survive like that. But anyway, that's a different thing. The Baal Shem Tov was the one that started being makel? Really? Why? That's what got into trouble with the Golan, maybe. Seriously, did he start? Why? What was the reason?
Because they couldn't exist without it.
Because they couldn't exist without it. Is it cool? Okay. I'm saying you have to know the history. You have to know the why they did it and maybe specific places, and it doesn't apply today in America. You could exist without it. Anyways, I don't know anybody after my whole drush about this that said, okay, I'm going to start. I'm a chassid. I was never makbid on this in my life, and now today I'm going to start. And I don't think that ever happened, but I got to put it out there. People should know at least what they're dealing with.
Wasn't that the deal?
Yeah, but one is the deraisa and one is not. It's like It's like that bottle of milk that everybody was stealing from in yeshiva, and then until he put a sign that's chol stam, and they stop. You got to know the difference between the da'iraisas and the rabbanans.
Not even a dirty.
What? Chol stam?
Which says you can do it.
No, it's also a cooler. It's a cooler. Oh, I'm going to talk about it. The very, very important, and chayiv misa.
To do it. Drink.
Huh? I should. I really should. I promised Shlomi Klein they should. But he said it bikula. He said it as a kula.
Reuven told him he could eat it.
Wait, 10 minutes. Okay, let's go. Reb Reuven told you that you could
eat it.
And that's what you eat chol stam?
Before we did it.
You're not going to be magachir tomorrow. You're not making chol stam?
I was.
I'm not either, unfortunately. My tluya, my shenet tluya. So what's the simple pshat here? Tluya, not tluya. Oh, so I have to show you this thing. Just really, yeah. So here it came up, it comes up, and then it goes down, and then there's the new crop. Okay, the point is that the oimer takes everything up until that point and makes it mutter, and everything past that point. Today, no oimer, you can't bring a carbon, so it goes by the day. The second day of Pesach is matter everything before that. From the second day of Pesach on is a whole new calendar. Says the Gemara, we went through this when we explained the Mishnah. It says coming into Eretz Yisrael. Tefillin, we know what tefillin is. Petach Hamar, I mamish feel bad. Next time somebody remind me. What I should have done is, I don't know if the Elan would have played ball. No, yesterday when I was talking about tefillin, I should have had everybody put on their tefillin. Look how many tefillin are on the table. Just put it on tefillin shorosh, loy l'shei mitzvah. Let's see if you're... Because then somebody came over to me, Benny came over to me, Mil Shach, he says, look around. Half the people here didn't listen to what you said. It's still on their forehead. Right? The chup is worse than the tefillin. Right. It's the Rabbanim versus the Reis. 100%. Somebody asked me this morning, how many emails did you get about your chatzitza, the chup with chatzitza? None. I'm Baruch Hashem, but Benny had to bring it up. Very tulu pedach hamar. It says in the pasuk like this: V'chol pedach hamar tivde b'seh. It's interesting halacha. If you have a firstborn donkey, you have to redeem it. You have to take a sheep and say, this sheep is instead of my donkey, and give that sheep to the kohen. And if you don't have a sheep, and if you don't feel like doing it, what do? You take a knife and you chop off its head. Here is how you chop off. No, not. This is the seh. They took a sheep. Look, the Rebbe is holding the sheep in his hand. He's going to give it to the kohen, and there's a donkey all adorned with beautiful things. This is a mitzvah you can do b'zman hazeh. It says that it has to do with coming into Eretz Yisrael. So it has nothing to do with you coming to Eretz Yisrael, says the Gemara. Look, everybody wears tefillin. Rashi says there's many Gemaras of Tanoim and Amoraim wearing tefillin in Bavel. So obviously it has nothing to do with Eretz Yisrael. Oh, this is the pshat that we said in the Mishnah. There's a gavra and a chevtza. If there's a mitzvah shechoyves haguf, it's on the gavra. Like Mila, Tefillin, Avodah Zara, Arayas, Noyheges Ben Bars, Ben Chutz La'aretz. These are things that apply in Chutz La'aretz as well. Choyves Karka, anything that has to do with Karka, Einu Neges El Ba'aretz. What are the things? Rashi says, Truma, Meiser, Chala, Arla, Leket Shikopeya, Shmita, Chodosh, Klayim. All these things have to do with the ground. They only apply in Eretz Yisrael. Now, Arlo, we said, Arlo Klayim apply also in Chutz La'aretz. Coming up on Eretz Sukkot, I heard once, so he says there's another mitzvah that's totally in Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz, and that is sleeping in the sukkah. Even though it's a mitzvah they rise to sleep in the sukkah, and the Shulchan Aruch paskins you have to sleep in the sukkah, but if for whatever reason, Klal Yisrael is not so makbid in Chutz La'aretz. So maybe this year, because we're so close to sukkahs, me included, we should be a little bit more makbid and sleep in the sukkah. There's a lot of excuses. It's mitzvah and it's this and it's that, and I live next to the park, and there's teenagers there the entire night screaming and yelling. Not that they do it every night, but especially on Chol Hamoed sukkahs. So bemis. So we'll be a little bit more makbid. And another thing that we discuss a lot, but unfortunately you probably remember. I don't remember. There was Rabbi Pessin told me a few times, and I forgot to ask him again. Walking on a treadmill Are you mekayim the mitzvah of walking in Eretz Yisrael Dalet Amos? David, what do you say? No way. You're in the same exact spot going like this. I think you said you're mekayim. I don't remember. Okay.
Maybe if the Peloton is like moving Eretz Yisrael video.
No. Hey, listen. Riding your bike and walking is two different things. I'm not. He said his halacha over here in a halichon on a treadmill. He said, by the way, if anybody wants, there's a place next to Tveria that you can just buy an olive tree from this guy, and he'll take care of it, and he'll do everything for you, and all the mitzvahs go to you, the arla, the shmita, the whatever's negeya. He'll do some client for you. No, he won't do client. Whatever, he'll take care of it for you. And the same tree he sells to many people, I think. No, there's a guy like that. Find him. He's next to Tveria somewhere. Says the Gemara, Minani Mili. How do you know there's a difference between a person and a karka? The Torah Look at this pasuk. It's unbelievable. Every word here is another drasha. Ela chukim v'hamishpatim asher tishmerun la'asos ba'aretz. So ela chukim ela midrashis. What does that mean? Midrashis means things that we don't know. It's a chayk. If you just look at the pasuk, you don't understand what's going on. You don't see the gzeir shava. You don't know behind the scenes. It doesn't say it in the pasuk. You have to accept it that that's what Moshe Rabbeinu got from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'hamishpatim elu adinim. These are the ones, the halachas that are mefurish in the Torah. Asher tishmerun zu mishnah. These are learning Torah. To learn Torah, we're going to have a whole sugya later on about learning Torah in order to be Mekayim, in order to do chesed, that you learn the Torah in order to do chesed. So when you learn the Torah, you get double the schar. Lasois, says in the pasuk, lasois in black, zumasa. This is to do it, to shake the lulav, to sleep in the sukkah. Baretz, you think that the word Ba'aretz means in Eretz Yisrael? Look at the end of the pasuk. On earth. So, Derech Agav, there was a guest here yesterday who said that it happens to be that this is a parsha that he learned. One parsha in his entire life. Why? Because, I don't know, maybe he learned also bar mitzvah. What I understood was that somebody said he's going on a vacation in a few months or whatever. He prepared an aliyah, a few psukim, because I learned a few times. For me, it's extremely difficult. It took hours upon hours. I don't know how they do it, the Balei Koyer. Yeah, he prepared a little aliyah here, 1 week, another one, and then he came and he knocked it out. Kedugmas, the guy that does Shnai Mikra, does a one aliyah, another parsha. At the end of the year, he has a whole Chamisha Chumshi Torah. He does one daf at a time, 2,000 times in a row, 2,700. You have the whole shas. Versus, that's the unbelievable power of Daf Yomi. Versus the guy who wanted to leave town. He collected money. I said a similar story, but not that. Collected a lot of money, and he goes to the train station. He says, "I need to get out of here. What can I do with all this money?" So he says, "How much do you have?" Okay. If you use the money for a business class ticket, you can only go 2 stations. If you use it for a regular coach, you go to the big city. He says, what's business? He says, there's everything, music, the recliner, giant chair. I want to go on that. I never did. I want to go. Kitzer, he goes, after 2 stops, he gets off, and he looks around, and there's snow everywhere. There's not a single building, there's not a single person. It was just an in-between stop. Now he's stuck there. You go, you take the coach, you go a little bit, 1 daf at a time, 1 aliyah at a time. At the end of the year, you got a ganze parsha. At the end of the 7 years, you have a whole shas. How did I get to it? Because no, Bemes, he said, he learned this parsha. Ray, Ekev, Ray. So we got a contradiction. Is it Eretz Yisrael? It's all over the world. The Torah said it's everywhere. The Torah said no, it's only Eretz Yisrael. Now look at the next pasuk, says the Gemara. Now this I think is very important. Look at Rashi. Rashi did binyan. I don't remember this so much. We say it every day. We're supposed to say it every day in Shloshis and Midrash HaTorah and Dreshus Bam. And one of the things is Davar halom binyanai. What does that mean? Anybody ever thought about Davar halom binyanai? We know Shava, this, Ribu Miyud. But what's Dav Elav Minyana? The Samachle says Rashi Avid Avdim. The next pasuk says Avid Avdim. You should destroy all the Avid Zars. The Hainu Avid Zkechav. V'learn in Shrab Kol Mishavas Kiddushin Kol Yom Shatim Chayim. V'Davar Halav Minyana Echad Miyigimel Midasi. It's one of the 13 rules in the Torah. Because the following pasuk tells you that you should destroy all Avodah Zarah, even where in America, even in Chutz La'aretz. So I take that and I bring it to the pasuk before, and that anything that's to do with me personally, not with the ground, it's in Chutz La'aretz as well. It's Davar Halav Minyana, and now you side.
Destroy the churches in Europe?
If it's Avodah Zarah mamish, and if you rule, if it's not going to put you in trouble, but that's not to get to us. That's not get to the pasuk. So it says in the Mishnah, besides our climb, Ibaylu, Reb Eli, what was Reb Eli coming to say? That Chadash is also in Chutz La'aretz, or Chadash is not? What was he saying? So at the end of the day, we know that Reb Eli holds that Chadash is also in Chutz La'aretz. But the Gemara goes through the motions here. What does that mean? L'chumra Polig, he said that's l'chumra that Chadash is also in Chutz La'aretz. Chutz min Arlam and Aklayim, the Chutz Gemir law. There's a halach l'mosh b'Sinai that Arlam and Klaim are also in Chutz La'aretz. Even though it shouldn't be because it's part of the ground, it should be like Shemitah only in Eretz Yisrael. And Chadash says the Tana Kama doesn't apply in Chutz La'aretz. My time Moshav Lachar Yerusha Yeshiva Mashma. It says in pasuk Moshav. Moshav means after Kibush and Chalukah. Right, there was 7 years that Kaiser didn't just walk into Eretz Yisrael, waltzed in there, and everybody went up to their apartment and got an apartment in Shelemah Yisrael. They had to fight for 7 hard years. And after they fought for 7 hard years, I'm assuming they fought with themselves for 7 years. No, man, maybe that's an exaggeration. But Chalukah, I get this, you get that, Mechlis, you should get that, maybe this. First you have to divide the Shvatim, then you have to divide the family, then divide this. It's a whole lace. Right, 7 of Kibush, 7 of Chalukah. My Chavrush was telling me the famous thing that they couldn't conquer a Kiryat Sefer. Couldn't conquer Kiryat Sefer. So until Kolev promised that whoever conquers Kiryat Sefer is going to marry my daughter, came with Neil and he conquered it. So there's machlokes whether, what does it mean? Whether he actually physically conquered Kiryat Sefer or he brought back 3,000 halachas that were forgotten. So he said the pshat is that every part of Eretz Yisrael is against Keneged part of the Torah. And the only way you could inherit is if you have that Torah. If you don't have that Torah, you can't inherit it. So once he brought back the 3,000 halachas, so they were able to just run in there and inherit. So I told them, and this is Leitzanas Ba'alma, but for the Vard, it's okay. That's why it took them 7 years to conquer Eretz Yisrael. It's 7 years of Daf Yomi. Zog the Gemara, it's a joke. Don't say nice on a joke. We know that Daf Yomi started 100 years ago, literally 100 years ago to the day. And on that he comes and he says, and Reb Eli says that Chadash is also in Chutz La'aretz. The Chaim Mishnah Berurah says, by the way, that if you hold of like the Rishonim, like the Rambam and all the Rishonim that say that Chadash is also B'zman Hazeh in Chutz La'aretz, so if you make an eruv out of a pizza pie that was baked in a store that sells Chadash pizza, you're not yoytze your eruv. It's not an eruv because you hold that it's issa deraisa to eat, so it's not food. Chaim says that. Okay. Dilma likula polig. Maybe he's saying the opposite. Perhaps the word Moshe means everywhere. Or the exact opposite. V'kolchkin chadash. The opposite. Everything that we just said, just the opposite. That the Tanna Kama holds chadash is in chutz la'aretz. The Moshav, because the word Moshav means what we said a second ago in Reb Eliezer, now is in the Tanna Kama. Kol Mokum Shatim Yosef mashma. But Reb Eliezer v'chodesh ani noyel ba'aretz. The Moshav l'achar Yerusha v'Yeshiva mashma. And Reb Eliezer says no. Moshav means after Yerusha v'Yeshiva umay af. So why is he saying af? Akamaisa. The beginning of the Mishnah says that a mitzvah tluya ba'aretz is only in Eretz Yisrael. Even chadash is only in Eretz Yisrael according to Reb Eliezer. So what did Reb Eliezer mean to say? Chadash is also in chutz la'aretz or mutar chutz la'aretz? Who is it? Reb Shimali. The Sanya. So for this we have to see. We're going to go a little bit into a sugya of Nesachim. It says in the pasuk, "Savaya la'aretz Moshe v'seichem." You see, Savayu Moshe v'seichem. Asher lechem. And then you're going to bring the Oila and pasuk Gimel. It says Oila. I'm just skipping around because we're late. V'ikri Markiv. So Shem is not important for us, but you should just know that many korbanos that you bring it together with nesachim. I think in English libations or whatever it's called. Forget the English word. It's not a good word. Nesachim. You bring wine. You bring oil together with your carbon. Maybe people are not familiar with it, but it goes together with the animal. They used to sell it in the Beis HaMikdash. They had a special store. You could buy wine. You could buy the oil. You don't have to schlep it. So he holds, and we're going to see exactly the machlokes. He says that the word Moshe v'seichem means after kibush, and it doesn't mean everywhere. It doesn't mean all over the world. It means after kibush. So basically, the argument is whether or not, I'm going to see in a second, whether or not a guy has a little bum in his backyard. This is like one of my favorite pictures from the Darb. Guy has his own private bama. Does he bring a carbon with nesachim on it? In the time that you're allowed to have a bama, does he bring nesachim or not? We're going to see in a second. The famous pasuk. It also says mishava. So what? This is also in chutz la'aretz. Okay, so let's remember this kavachomer for later. He's going to use it again. Ma mitzvahs kalos. You have a lighter mitzvah. What's a lighter mitzvah? So in the Shari Tshuva, he brings a whole list of things. He says, first it starts with mitzvahs d'Rabbanan. If you over a mitzvah d'Rabbanan, chayiv misa. That's how chomer d'Rabbanan is. But then on top of that, worse than that is a mitzvah saseh. And worse than that is a lav and nitik laseh. And then worse than that is a lois haseh. Then you have misas bezdin. And then you have Shabbos, which is the worst misas bezdin, skila. And then on top of that, you have people that don't even go into Gan Eden. But if you look at the thing, and the worst is Shabbos. Chaim explains that person has a fish store, it says fish on it. And once he takes off the sign, that's it. Then it's not a fish store anymore. It says Shabbos is a lot of stores in America. I know in America, I don't know better. It says Shomer Shabbos. That's how you tell I'm a Jewish. Shomer Shabbos. It doesn't say Einu Yochel Treifus or whatever. Shomer Shabbos. That's your sign. Once you take that off, you're saying I'm not Jewish anymore. I have no shaykhs to you guys. So, okay, I'm not going to go into the next because we're late. So certainly Shabbos. That's most chomer. You should be chayiv to keep Shabbos in chutz la'aretz. As says the Gemara, Abaye explains that it's Reb Shmuel who argues in Reb Eliezer. Now Mishnah Shema Mino Reb Eliezer l'chumer polig Shema Mino. So it's Reb Eliezer that says no chadash is everywhere. Shema Mino. Says the Gemara Michti Reb Shmuel Aychikoi and Esachim. So we just explained the whole Reb Shmuel. His argument is the Rekiva on Esachim. Do you have to bring wine or not? Ben Esachim. What's going on here? If you look back at the pasuk, it says in the pasuk, Kisavayu and Moshe Seichem. It says two words here. Maybe because it says those two words, that's why he argues. But otherwise, he doesn't argue. Maybe you need these two things. Bio Moshe. But if it just says Bia, let's say it's not enough. Okay, we just turned to Lam Zayin on Beis for all those in need of a Refuah Shelemah and in honor of my uncle Reb Chanan Pressman as a zchus for a year filled with mazel, bracha, Hatzlocha, and parnas berevach for all the MDY family. Our boys, don't forget to go to MDY Monthly. David, when you go home now, MDYmonthly.com. $100 a day is the recommended amount. Huh?
Keeps the doctor away.
The share is not over, but you can leave. Oh, any place. So now the Gemara says like this: any place that does say these two things, and that includes Rabbi Isai Chadash. Here you'll see in Chadash it also says the words Savayu and Moshe V'Seichem. Then it's only after Yerusha v'Yeshiva, the only Chayiv in Chadash once you conquer, and in other words, after the 14 years. Says the Gemara, so then what was Rabbi Kiva's kasher Rabbi Isai? If you just establish you need two words, you need bia and mishavos. So then what is he asking? It's only one word. Shabbos is not a kasha. I need two. Says the Gemara, no. He was saying one, and in addition to that, I have another pshat. First of all, you Rabbi Kiva, you didn't understand what I said. I said you need, in order to go for it to be totally in Yisrael, you need both the word bio Moshe. Void the Ka'amr say Shabbos should never buy Moshavos. You asked me from Shabbos. Shabbos Kavachoyim. That we already said you don't need anything because Shabbos I could get away with the Kavachoyim. It's the most chomer of all averis. So what is the machlokes between Reb Shmuel and Reb Kiva? Bekirvun is sochim ba'midbar komifligi. So unfortunately, I didn't have Yoshi this morning, but just very, very passionate. When we have a question, what does the word kisavayu mean? When you come into Yisrael, you should do this, something that you didn't do before. Yeah, obviously it's mamish. It's hard to read even. Once I know what the achdus is, then I understand the word Moshe V'Seichem means something completely different. If you look in the bottom, Reb Shmuel says Moshe V'Seichem means when you conquer, and Reb Kiva says Moshe V'Seichem means everywhere you live. How do they get to it? Because according to Reb Shmuel, Kisavayu means that there was no Yechidim, a Yachid never brought Nesachim in the Midbar. So Mela Kisavayu is a big Chiddush. When you come to Eretz Yisrael, you're going to start bringing Nesachim. You're going to start bringing wine. But according to Rebbe Kiva, there was already Nesachim in the Midbar. So what do? They started bringing something new. What's the chiddush? You have to say a chiddush, kisavayu. Something different is going to change. But Yechidim already brought it in the Midbar. What changed? What changed is that if you have a bum in your backyard, you also bring it. That's what changed. Beforehand in the Midbar, you didn't do that. Oh, so once you know that, then the word what's Moshe V'Seichem means. Moshe V'Seichem means everywhere. And according to Rabbi Shmuel, the Moshe V'Seichem means when I get to Yisrael, then that's when it starts. Rabbi Shmuel savar like kirvun nesachim b'midbar. Give a savar kirvun nesachim b'midbar. Omar Abaye, hi Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, mapik mi iduch Tana de Rabbi Shmuel. He learns it from the other Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, from the other Talmud. Tana de Rabbi Shmuel. Hoyel v'nemru bia is batar stam. It says the word bia. Upar d'cha kaz bechol mehem lachi Yerusha v'Yeshiva. And then I learned one of them means once you conquer and settle. Afkol lachi Yerusha v'Yeshiva. So that's typical for the Torah, and that's beautiful. If the Torah says it one time, then I take that one time and I learn it from everywhere to everywhere. The word bia means when I come into Yisrael and I conquer. Vidach. But he says, no, that's not good. We had this a bunch of times. We had this yesterday. We had a few daf ago. That what? This idea that everybody's used to already. When the Torah says the same halacha twice, what the Torah is telling you is don't learn out anywhere else. Otherwise, all the Torah needed to do is tell it to you once. And I can learn from the whole Torah from that one place. Why did the Torah repeat itself? To tell you, dafka in these two places. If the Torah says it 3 times, it's even worse. Only in these 3 places. So, he says, listen, there's another place, a second place, called Bikurim. Bikurim also says, be a Moishav. Now, how do you get out of that? Now, we explained. If there's it's necessary for the Torah to say it in 2 places. Why is it necessary? Because each one I wouldn't know without the other one. So Mela, it's not to tell you only these 2 places, nowhere else. Then it's these 2 places and everywhere else. So I need a tzrichusa. What's a tzrichusa? Bidach. Tzrichi. The other Tana the Beis Shmuel says, because Rachmana Melech because of Bikurim, have Amina Bikurim the Kamsani Lalter. It makes a lot of sense logically. Think about it, common sense. You have a tree, you have produce. Right now, it's giving you produce. Shouldn't you go say thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? What are you waiting 14 years for? Because of Rahman because of Melech. So the Torah is saying, no, wait 14 years. Don't do it now. It's a big chiddush. But if it only said Bikurim because of Melech, I need a king. When do I need a king? Right now, today. I'm in war. I need a general. I need somebody to lead me. I'm fighting all these nations, all these goyim over here in Eretz Yisrael. What are I going to do? So I think you should take a king right now. Don't wait 14 years. No. Kamash Malon. Kamash Malon, no. Wait 14 years. So he doesn't hold with this whole bikurim, oh, you should thank Hashem right away. So say melech and that's it. Nevertheless, even though the king's derech is to conquer, nevertheless, it has to be after Yerusha and Yeshiva. And so that's a chiddush. You have to wait 14 years for a king. I need him today. I need somebody to lead me. No, wait 14 years. Bikurim like Kolsh can certainly bikurim. Because of Achi, if it only said it by a king, Hava Amino, I would think that Bikur needed to have a Chala. Chala, everybody knows, here's the pasuk, I think I have it. No. Oh. Chala is immediately, as soon as you come to the Eretz Yisrael, it's immediately, nobody argues with that. So I think that Bikurim and Chala is like something you give to the Kohen. Both are something you give to the Kohen. It should be immediately. We can't stop here. How are we going to stop here? Oh, well, you know what? We have a Magachir tomorrow. Let him deal with it. Because the Bikurim is different. You have to wait 14 years. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Wow.